Howdy, hello, and welcome back. So for today's video, we are doing another segment of The Preferred Few, with the guest today being very, very special. He is the person who helped me create the one, the only Sage Preferred. So without further ado, we're going to welcome to the show, the one, the only... Dray. Hi, how are you?
Hello, my lady. I'm good.
Oh God, we're already starting with the German.
Just a little bit.
So after a lot of planning, we finally got to schedule a time to film this video with the perfect timing because it's about to be your birthday. So happy birthday!
Dankeschön.
And for those who don't know, Dre is my brother from the same mother. And I am the oldest.
Okay, we'll go with that. We will go with that.
I'm the oldest, even out of Mama, I'm the oldest. I'm still the oldest mentally. So not only are you my brother, but you're also like a pioneer for queer people in our family. What age did you officially come out in the small town of Ayrton, Alabama?
Not by choice, but I did come out. I was 15 years old.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you said it was not by choice.
Well, no, not exactly. I mean, I was kind of forced, and forced is a strong word, but Mama found some things in the closet and this and that, and I was confronted about it, and I was like, you know what? Why?
That made you come out of the closet.
Why hide it anymore? So yeah.
Well, thanks to that hard decision, myself as well as two of my cousins have an easy gateway to our queerness today. Is that something that you think about often?
I do. Actually, I think about the generation, not just my family, but the generation as a whole, that had it, or has it rather, so much. I don't want to say easier because there are definitely still struggles and issues that we face, but go back 20 years, 25 years when I was in school, day and night. So I am happy to see that progression, and if in any way I played a part in making it easier for you guys to be yourselves, then I'll take credit for that. But yeah.
I mean, but like you were saying, as a whole, like today's generation definitely do have it a lot easier. I mean, like even myself, I never had to officially come out, so I don't know. I definitely think it is. I don't want to say it's easier, like you said, but in most situations, most cases, it's more understanding. But through living your life as a little gay boy from the South, you later stumbled upon the art form of drag and soon became Katrina Taylor. How was that experience?
You know, I've always said that as you grow, I'll be 40 in a little over a week. And so you have to go through life being many different people before you can finally figure out who you are. And that's why, just to circle back, it's easier for this generation to do it than we were. But Katrina Taylor was a person that I thought I wanted to be. I had to be her to see that was not who I was as a person. But it was a very memorable time in my life, because not only was I doing drag, but I was also questioning my gender identity, looking into transitioning, starting the process of transitioning. So yeah, it was a very unique but important experience.
What age did you start doing drag?
If you don't count dressing up in my room when nobody was around with towels and stuff, the first time I ever hit a stage, I was 19.
Gotcha.
And that's another thing. This generation, drag is accepted. Middle school kids, they have TikTok. We didn't have social media. There was no exposure on the level, you know, that there is today.
And with the very little exposure, you did have the inspiration of Madame LaQueer.
Okay. Is this where we insert the picture?
Yes, insert picture. Why was Madame LaQueer such an inspiration to you?
Girl.
Did you have an inspiration when you were doing drag?
You know, honestly, drag was not... People were not exposed to drag at that time.
Especially in that area.
In Southeast Alabama, in the late 90s, early 2000s. RuPaul, everybody knew RuPaul, but other than that, there was no real exposure to it. So I wouldn't say that I was inspired by anyone in particular. Growing up, I was always more feminine. I was very emotional, very empathetic. You know, so I always knew that I was gay. But then I said, well, what if I'm not really gay? What if I'm a woman? And da-da-da-da-da. And so it took that exploration and that time figure that out.
Got you. Well, something that I find crazy is that you actually performed at the same exact bar that I still to this day perform at, and actually just got a new show at. When you performed there, it was known as the bar.
The bar.
Yes. Were you a stunt queen at the bar?
Absolutely. Well, you know, by today's standards, no. But yeah, it's crazy. Everything comes full circle because 20-something years later, you know. But yeah, some friends of mine, some people that I work with, we stumbled across the bar when I was living in Ozark, and we went one night. It was the first time I went out in drag. I didn't perform that night, but just to put on this different persona and be something completely different, and it was an atmosphere. I felt, and probably most people probably feel the same way about their first time at a gay bar, but I was like, wow, I feel seen, you know. And so yeah, when the opportunity to perform came, I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I loved it. I enjoyed it. And now to see you come back full circle and perform on the same stage 24 years later. No, 20, I can't math. 20 years later. 20 years later, there we go. But yeah.
But with stunts aside, you also managed to be a pretty successful pageant queen, correct?
I was much more the pageant queen than the stunt queen.
A park and bark.
Yeah, I mean, she can have her moments, but yes, and all drag is valid. We're learning that now. When I was coming up, it was pageant or slut, excuse the term, but you know, that the nasty girl, the stripper, whatever. But yeah, the pageant scene was definitely more my aesthetic. Very polished drag, gowns, hair, you know, which most people have a problem with today for some reason.
I know, unfortunately.
But yes, I did compete in some pageants.
Can you remember all the titles that you won?
I really don't.
Because I know there was Labor of Love.
I did win Labor. That was the very first pageant I ever won, Labor of Love 2005. Miss Magic City. I did second runner-up at Miss Magic City. So yeah,
Magic City's Birmingham.
Yes, absolutely.
I was about to say, because that's still a pageant to this day.
322 in Montgomery, way back when. But yeah, in those days, there weren't local, well, except for the bar. You had to go and try to get into, and it's still kind of like that, honestly. I mean, the Birmingham drag scene obviously is bigger, but it's still not. There's what, 4 or 5, and when she
shows here?
No, like clubs, like.
As far as there's 13 drag opportunities in Birmingham. Okay. Like show wise. As far as clubs, there's really only 2 or 3. Everything else is kind of like a venue. Right. Yeah, but in the sense of what you're saying, it's even when I started doing drag in Dothan, you had to have a pageant behind you to do something. Like you had to have a title, or you had to have like
a following, or some kind, or be the it bitch. It was Cinnamon Ashley when I was in. Shout out to Cinnamon Ashley if you're still out there. But yeah, Osha Lachey. Shout out to Osha Lachey. Like in that era, there was a lot of animosity between drag queens. Drag queens were nasty. Yeah. Drag queens were...
Glass in the powders. And...
Yeah, you know, just terrible. The minute you walked through the dressing room, they'd never laid eyes on you. They would read you down and just destroy your self-confidence. Yeah. And that's not what drag is about, you know. I mean, yeah, be confident, be proud of yourself, let people know it. Throw a little shade, that's fine. But when you come to destroy people, like, no,
it takes the fun out of it. And that's the whole point of drag is to have fun and do what you like. But eventually, through the life of Katrina, you wanted to start to transition. Is that something that you think about today, or that you think made you want to do drag more, or?
Well, yeah, I do think about it from time to time. Once again, it was a very important and integral part of my life. But no, I know for a fact now that was something I needed to figure out for myself. But now I realized that you differentiate the two. There's trans women and there's drag queens. They're not the same thing. So once again, coming from the old school, because let's face it, Gen X now, or Gen Z now makes me the old school, but it's so much different. You know, we didn't have the resources and the information. So once I figured that out, I was like, hey, I can still have that artistic feminine side of me. That doesn't mean that's who I am. It's a character. It's a performance, and
it's something that you put on to live through something that you like with emotion. If you want to take out an emotion, or even to the point of just like with me, I just like being on stage. You know?
Right.
But after being on HRT and nearly going through with bottom surgery and a whole Hurricane Katrina later, you decided to no longer live your life as a trans woman. Is that something that you regret or admires you today?
I don't regret that decision at all. I know that in hindsight, I know that it would have been a terrible mistake.
But I mean, it's in the point of like, if you wouldn't have, because you were what, 18, 19?
Yes.
Whenever you decided, literally had the money saved up and everything for the bottom surgery. And
Working towards it.
Yeah, and then it's just the point of like, if you would have let, and a lot of people don't realize hormones themselves can make you in a very
Madam LaQueer.
distraught, emotional state. So like
True.
adding any other thoughts onto that is, and when you're younger and already going through those emotions, going through puberty, yeah, it's definitely something that I feel like it should be thought out. And
Yeah. I
you're
wouldn't
changing
say
your body. There's no going back, often
Right.
on certain situations.
Right.
So. Do you think it was the detransitioning or the hurricane with the same exact name as yours that made you hang the wigs up for good?
I would honestly, I mean, it was ironic that there was such a devastating hurricane. Was it a sign? But
Because it was the same.
It was the same year. It was the same year. I did
That's
the Labor
crazy.
of Love pageant. Hurricane Katrina was in August. I did the Labor of Love pageant in February. And then Katrina happened in August. And by the end of 2005, I was done. But it wasn't so much, it wasn't the hurricane, but I realized then that they're not one and the same, right? So then I had like not an identity crisis, is the wrong word, but a different realization. Okay, let me try to be this person next. That didn't include drag. So, it made the most sense to me just to, because I didn't want to be that person anymore. But the entertainer part was always still in me. Drag, the expression is what I enjoyed the most.
Where did the last name Taylor come from?
Taylor just... There was no specific inspiration. It just Katrina Taylor, like the T, the sound, and it just sounded elegant. And
Elegant.
I did throw around a few names, before I settled on her. But yeah, and
although Katrina might have retired, you later started to dabble in drag again with your partner at the time. Was there a specific reason for that?
I mean, this was around when Drag Race became really popular, right? It was season 4. That was when Drag Race went kind of mainstream, and it was like, okay, so of course we were into that, like all the gays. And it was just like, hey, I remember how fun this was. I remember da-da-da-da-da. So you were over at the house one day, and we just decided we got some Salvation Army or Goodwill, I don't recall where, but we got some thrift store gowns and went about town.
Yeah, because that's literally, I tell a lot of people about that experience. That was literally the day that I knew I wanted to do drag, because I had been literally the week before, I had sat in the floor and y'all had like styled a wig on me while watching Drag Race, and then I sat there and watched season 4 while y'all were getting ready. You were wearing a ginger hair and a blue dress.
It was a mint green dress.
And Will, I think, was wearing a brown wig and a white dress. And then y'all came down and I was like, yep, that's what I want to do. When could you tell that I was going to be a drag queen?
I wouldn't say drag queen specifically. I knew that you were, can I say gay now?
I mean, queer.
Queer.
Yeah.
But well, then queer wasn't a thing. So when you were about 2 or 3. Because I saw a lot of myself in you, the way that I used to act, the way my mannerisms and things like that. And Mama and I even discussed it because I was out. I was already out. Well, not discussed, but and I said to her, that Sage is gay, right? And she was, if he is, it's fine. Da, 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 da. And it was just, so once again, I guess I was the trailblazer because it wasn't so easy for me. But yeah, I knew at a very young age that you definitely were.
But years later, you actually moved to Auburn, Alabama, where I spent the summers with you. It was the summer of 2017. I believe it was June 8th. I don't remember. It was around there. I had the picture pulled up, but, second time refilming this.
There we go, yeah.
But that's when I officially had to decide to dabble in drag, and you helped me put myself together. What are your memories from that summer, including Dirt Cheap, where we would find gowns at Dirt Cheap and
so yeah, and get the 5-finger discount. Well, not your 5 fingers. But and once again, just like the bar and that era of my life, that's also a very memorable era. I would even say I was a different person then in my own personal aspect. You were coming of age, 15, going on 16. I'm 18 years older than you are, so I wanted to be that hip brother, I guess. You know what I mean? So, so I felt honored to be able to be someone to allow you to have that outlet. You could come to our house and be yourself and dress up and all that stuff. It was really nice seeing that and being able to be a part of that.
And just to officially put it out there, you did not put me in drag.
I didn't put you in drag.
You put
I never
a lash
said.
on.
I said
no,
I
I'm just putting it out there because I've always done everything
How
by
crazy
myself.
is that I have never put you?
I've always put you in drag.
That's true. And if you want to circle around to that just briefly, so there's context, being what I thought was a transgender woman at the time, I didn't do drag like you guys, like y'all do drag. You know, hormones helped me with a softer face, so I really didn't need all the makeup. So I've never known how to drag back to that. I was just pretty, you know what I'm saying? So regardless of what you might see now, but so yeah, that's why. If I tried to paint today, it would be a mess. But I can perform. I do love it. I do love
Parking bar, but still.
Oh, honey. Tears.
But nearly 3 years later, I eventually blossomed and became the show director of once was called The Bar that you started at, which I think is a huge reflection of your inspiration. But with my new monthly show starting up at the DDC, will we see some more of Katrina return? And if so, what name will it be?
She will be back.
Specifically, not to spoil, but December.
December. Can I say the date?
December 16th.
December 16th. So make me feel welcome and don't make me perform in front of a bunch of empty chairs.
Yes.
But the last time we did a pageant together in 2019. Yeah. Other than that, she's been put to rest for a while. But yeah, I don't know.
No, there was another time before that. Because we performed at DDC and you smoked that one joint.
That is very true.
You did that one number and then you said, I'm too high.
That was Celia Faye, and Celia Faye's gone. But yeah, we'll think of something.
You're just Roger, swapping through personas of drag.
Right, exactly. What's her name? Jenny, the realtor?
Yeah,
anyway.
Jenny Gold.
Jenny Gold.
Jenny Gold.
But yeah, she'll be back, and I'm excited. I'm working on some stuff, trying to get some ideas together. It's going to be a fun time.
And you've always been a massive supporter of my drag, whether it be through shows or trying to even sneak yourself into a show, even while living nearly 3 hours away in the great city of Atlanta, Georgia. How long have you been living there?
6-ish years.
I still don't think that's correct.
My concept of time is terrible. Brandon and I got married in 2018.
But y'all were living up there before then.
We had moved to Atlanta about 2 weeks before we got married. Right. So 1921.
Wait, there was also Memphis though.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
Yeah, what would that have to do with living in
Atlanta? I just know y'all were in
in
Atlanta in 2019 because that's when I did my graduation.
Right.
Pictures.
That was when we first moved to Atlanta. Do you see this? Okay, anyway. Yeah,
we both better math.
5-6 years. There we go.
Have you always been a big city person, or is it just the trauma of growing up in a small town?
I knew that I was more than Ozark, Alabama, or Phoenix City, Alabama, or Columbus, Georgia.
Claim the Ayrton too.
Ayrton, oh my God! if you want to talk about trauma, let's do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I like a balance. I would slit my waist in the middle of the street if I had to live in Ozark or Ayrton or a place like that.
Trust me.
But I'm a homebody. Yeah, I'm getting older, which don't get me wrong, 40 is not old, but I'm proud of my life. I've lived a life that Anyway, I don't get. I love a good drag show. You won't see me out past 11 o'clock. If you see me out at all, I'd rather just sit home.
Literally, while getting ready, you were like, "Can we move the show up just a little bit?" And I was like,
"It's tough.
No, we can't." I don't like it either. I mean, I'm always up until like 3 o'clock in the morning, but I don't like being out at night. I don't like driving at night. It's too much work.
But right now I live about 15 minutes from the city, so I have that nice little suburban.
If you
feel.
want to have
there's
once every blue moon, to
right?
Party.
Drive downtown, go see a drag show, but yeah. So I do like a balance. There are things I like about a more open, liberal city, obviously, but I do kind of like the slower pace sometimes.
But much like our mom, you've always been a mover. What place do you see next, and why is it Germany and changing your name to Beatrice?
So yeah, my mom and our mom, our mother and I, last year for my birthday week, we went to Europe, and we went to Germany. We went to Frankfurt. We saw the hospital she was born in. We rode to Heidelberg. We went to Paris. It was a very memorable, once again, those moments. And I'm telling you, the older you get, you will have these eras of your life that are just and that will always be an era and a moment in my life that will be very near and dear to me, because it was such a special time to see something other than this country. Okay, I'm not going to get all political here, but America's not great. We know that. Is there any place that's perfect? No, there's not. But my experience, France, not so much. Paris, but
the TikToks where they turn around and they see what's behind them.
Right.
Yeah.
But Germany was such a wonderful place, and just to know that type of place exists outside of what we deal with every single day. I'm just really intrigued by it, and then the culture and the music and all this stuff. It's a special place to me for a lot of different reasons.
Where does your obsession with Germany and other countries and cultures in general come from?
Well, my deep fascination with Germany obviously is from the trip, which I'm working on going back. Also, if you haven't caught Drag Race Germany, check it out. It was a wonderful season. I don't know, the finale airs tomorrow or tonight. So anyway, but yeah, it's the world. There's so many different places and so many different people, and everybody has a story to tell. And it's not just us. You know what I'm saying? And in life, you should constantly learn something from other people. And if we had more of an understanding like that, wow,
Yeah.
So just to study those cultures and learn those things and try to understand where everybody comes from to a certain extent, it's just good for humanity.
Is there anywhere else you would like to travel?
I would love to see all of Europe. If I just had the money, the whole world, but definitely Europe. Definitely Europe as such a well-organized, for the most part, well-organized, diverse continent. I would just love to. We saw two countries in one trip. Maybe next time, go over to Switzerland, Austria, all these different places.
Switzerland.
Switzerland.
With the unfortunate Christmas season coming up, if you had to ask Santa for one place, a plane ticket to one place to travel, where would it be?
As much as I love Germany, I don't think I would use it to go back. I would love to go see Ireland, which I have a great deal of Irish heritage. And just from what I see in videos and pictures, beautiful place. And very, very stark contrast to America, because they're very old village and things like that. Like, they're modern, but it would be a very unique and wonderful experience. And so that would definitely be my pick.
Is there any other state in the United States that you would like?
I mean, we recently got back from California.
Insert vlog where it was me and Dray going to Six Flags.
Fun times. California's not my favorite place. I mean, I've been there before.
The first time I agreed. The first time me, you, and Brandon went, it was dirtier than I was expecting.
And it was worse this time.
But then I went to New York, and New York was the same way.
I mean,
it's the big cities.
Which brings us back to the big city question.
Yeah, but I will say, this time I enjoyed it a lot more. And I don't know if it's because I went out and did my own little thing while y'all went to Disneyland. But I felt like I took in a lot more, of the people, you know what I mean? And, saw that, oh, wow, there's a bunch of queer people here. There's a bunch of trans people just walking down the street. So I feel like I enjoyed it a lot more the second time.
Yeah.
But is there anywhere specific that you would want to go?
Yeah, I did kind of drop that. So I would love to go see the Pacific Northwest, Oregon, Portland, Seattle.
I would love to go to Portland.
Washington, all of those places. Actually, it's not finalized, but I'm definitely trying to get it in order. I'm planning on taking a trip in the summer up to Maine, where my ex lives, and we're still good friends. Hi, Will. And Canada is just right across the border, so that would be a really easy 2-in-1 trip. So, but yeah, I don't really have. I've lived in the South my whole life, so I'm over the Southern states. Boo. Yeah. The Midwest doesn't really. Yeah, America in general,
it's just not,
no offense, America, but it's just.
Well, my issue is I am not the brightest crayon in the bunch. I came from Alabama, so it's hard for me to learn other cultures and relate to other cultures because I'm so stuck on the American culture. So Canada is really the only one that I would like.
And Canada is America's top hat, so or attic, or however you want to put it. But even Canada, you know, and it's not a continental thing like I was saying about Europe.
This continent.
It's yes, but you know, America, the United States of America and Canada, same continent, right beside each other. Look how vastly different. You know, it's like what are we not getting?
And of course, there's issues, but what place is not going to have issues?
Right.
So now we're going to make this shit dumb with the closing segment, dumb and quick. So you'll have 6 questions with 9 seconds to answer them, and if you can't think of an answer, just don't be a loser. Okay?
Okay.
Right. First question: Drag Race or Golden Girls?
Yee.
6.
Golden
7.
Girls. Golden Girls. Sorry.
I mean, that's fair. You put on Golden Girls all the time, but
Let me
I
tell
put on
you,
Drag Race all the time.
I hear you on that. And Golden Girls is so comforting. Every single night, I kid you not, I started season 1 and just let it autoplay all the way through. I go to bed every night, and it's so comforting and familiar. I love it.
RuPaul said in an interview that's what she does too.
Yeah, see? What now? That's not then.
Number 2, movies or TV shows?
I'm definitely going to say TV shows on that one.
And that is worry about the long time.
I'm not super crazy about sitting still for long periods of time. Now, if I'm at home, that's different because I can get up and whatever. But even still, I need, if I don't want to fully invest my attention in it, I can get through an episode and come back to it. You can't do that with a movie. So definitely TV shows.
My only issue with TV shows is like sometimes I'll like put on one, and that's why I put on Drag Race for the most part while I'm stoning, and then I'll like try to pay attention to it.
And you can't, right? It's easy back, and that's why King of the Hill, Will and Grace, and Golden Girls. One of those 3 will constantly be playing in the background because I can hear it and I can catch a joke, but I don't have to pay attention to it.
Yeah, King of the Hill is definitely one of the Golden Girls for me. Like if it's just on Hulu.
Right.
Hulu's so expensive these days.
Right, but hey, we know it.
Number 3, favorite restaurant, and why is it Olive Garden?
It's not Olive Garden, but shout out to Darden and Olive Garden, 5 years. But yeah,
6, 7.
Favorite like a specific restaurant or a type of food.
Specific restaurant.
Okay, I would have to say, I guess, Cheddar's.
Okay.
Even though that's a Darden property, we're fancy, right?
Cheddars. Like Cheddars.
As you could, because not anymore post pandemic, but the menu used to be so expensive. I take that back. Does it have to be a chain?
No.
Okay.
It's a restaurant.
So we ate at this place back home in Atlanta called, oh my God, it was Eat Americana, I believe. Oh, it was wonderful. It was
what type of food was it?
It was, so they had like a lot of different food, but it was mainly like Creole, New Orleans based food. And it was really good. It was a mom and pop shop. I can't say it's my favorite now since I've only been there once, but I would have to say something like that.
That sounds amazing, yummy, delicious. Number 4, Busch Gardens or Dollywood?
That's a toss-up, both for different reasons. If we're talking about rides, then Busch Gardens definitely. No. I'm going to go ahead and say Dollywood.
Yeah.
For many reasons. Busch Gardens is too goddamn hot. Okay. And it can get hot in Dollywood too, but at least you have the mountains and the shade and the this and the that, and it's not in the blazing ass Tampa sun. And plus it's Dolly.
I was about to say it is Dolly.
Yeah.
But Busch Gardens definitely does have a lot better roller coasters.
Yeah.
I mean, Dollywood's I almost said Dolly's coasters. Dollywood's rides are not bad. There's like 4 of them.
Yeah, they're
and
not. Dollywood
like
is
7.
not as focused on the thrill.
But then again, we learned at Six Flags that Magic Mountain has 13. Are they all good? No, they're not. No. Number 5, if you had to choose one place to live, absolutely could not take it back. Alabama or Mississippi?
Alabama, because I've already been there, done that. I'm equipped.
Family and all that. And last one, cats or cows?
Damn cat.
I'll say finally cow. the first one on all of the preferred feuds that said the cows. Yeah, everyone said cats, and I was like, what are y'all gonna get cows?
Sorry about it.
Wow, I was about to say I'm obsessed with cows.
Both. Well, no, you're not really. You have a cat, but you're not a cat person.
I mean, I got lucky with the cat that I have because she doesn't need attention all the time. But anyways, so that's gonna be all for the video. Thank you so much for coming. Can they follow you anywhere? I know you're not a social media girl.
Killed the radio star. No, actually it didn't. But no, Instagram only. Ishbin Florian 83. So.
If you can, I'll try to copy and paste it. And then you can also catch. You discussed the name, Holly Days.
Holly Day is a contender.
No, it should be Holly.
But now that it's not a Christmas show anymore, maybe not.
But it could be Holly with an I and then Days with a Z.
Holidays.
Holidays.
Perhaps.
Like in a daze. Or D-A-Z-E. Wait, D-A-Z-E.
We'll get it
That'd be
together.
days.
We'll get it together.
Anyways, so you can catch...
That'll be the surprise.
You
for
can
you.
catch whatever their name's going to be in the Christmas show, currently untitled.
It's not a Christmas show.
Yeah.
But it is a
Yeah.
Christmas show.
And you can follow me on all of my socials at The Only Preferred, and make sure to follow to wish Dray a very happy birthday coming up very soon, especially after this video is released.
November 29th.
And I think this one's coming out November 26th, whatever Sunday is before.
Perfect. My birthday's on a Wednesday.
I think, anyways. No, wait, that's the one before. I don't know. It doesn't
Something like
matter.
that.
Look at a calendar, you'll find out. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for a brand new video every Sunday, sometimes on Mondays if we're running behind. But until next time, stay queer and stay German.
Auf Wiedersehen.